There's like a number of people who watch American football, and it's completely trumped by the amount of people who watch competitive gaming.
Sure.
Completely. Like, it's insane. It's the same. It's like the same thing with like people who actually watch football, like worldwide soccer.
Yeah, sports are dead, man.
Yeah, they're gonna.
We got to, dude. Sports makes no sense anymore. Like team sports, I think it's like a leftover thing from like the 19th century. Like, I think it's gonna die for the most part.
It was such a easy way to gain entertainment value from just watching people.
Like
Yeah,
the only reason it's around is out of tradition, but it just takes one generation to break it, in different communities, and it's gone.
Is it tradition, or has it turned much more into a marketing ploy?
Well, right at this point, I mean, soccer and football and basketball has become so ingrained into our school system that it just exists as like a cultural, it's just like a cultural tool to keep people doing certain things that certain people have already put themselves in charge of. So now that we have like this huge NFL situation and these huge college stadiums and these huge college sporting programs and these high schools that are having like budgets for these sports, like the system's just there.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it's also so much easier for schools to go tell kids to play an already established organized sport.
no, well, they want them to do it. It's part of controlling them. It's about having like an activity after school where the coach and this and that and what they're doing and they learn how to follow rules. It's about like community building and stuff.
So when you're talking about sports, are you talking about just basketball,
I'm
football,
talking about
soccer?
Yeah.
You're not
ball sports. I'm not talking about like rock climbing or like
martial arts,
cool stuff that.
Yeah.
And I think 19th century sports it's just a leftover. I think that it's only, there'll always be a place for team sports, and there should be. Team sports is cool. Everybody should learn how to be on a team. It definitely educates people in a way that makes them team players,
right?
Makes them like better people in their community. But I think the current incarnation of specifically like football, I think is damaged, and I don't think it makes it like another 20 years.
Really? 20 years?
I don't think it does.
I hope it doesn't. Like, I honestly hope it doesn't.
Dude, I highly regret the football I played in like junior high and high school. I highly regret it. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Running full speed into someone with a helmet on. Why? For what?
To entertain people around you.
And all these knuckleheads that run these programs, like thinking it makes sense. Well, it did make sense, but like I said, it's like this old thing that we're still doing. But I'm not like a ninny. Like I think teenagers should have the opportunity to decide what type of danger they want to take. You know, but a system where, because I played football, and in high school, and it's probably not the case in every high school, but it's part of our culture where we kind of push this idea. And this literally happened. I remember sitting around with like the other football players, and then the coach saying, "You're football players. You're the most important people in this high school. People look up to you. You got to make sure that you do this and that and get good grades." Yeah. And I remember thinking back then, like, whoa, no, we just run around with a ball. Like, you've lost your mind, dude. But in a way, he's right. There is like a structure out there, and it's supported by these huge, massive things. But I think football specifically, I think it's done. I think it's too American. There's too many things attacking it. I think soccer makes more sense. It's more equal. It's more fun. I think
your high school coach was a bit of a Darwinist. He really believed in that survival of the fittest. Like, if you're a soccer player, you're big and you're tough and you can ream all these weenies out here. Like, that's if you really.
He was like that. He was like a total bro.
Bro. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it is. Like, you can't have just anybody play football.
Oh,
You had to have the biggest. You had to have the biggest kids in your high school. You had to have the biggest kids to play this sport. You had to have the fastest kids. You had to have the. Those were the kids who can only play football. You couldn't have anybody else.
Yeah. When I quit, it was funny because it literally went down like this. I was like in high school, and a bunch of my friends. And I had a lot of friends that were like big football players. And there was one point where spring training had started, and we were like all at the football field. And we're all sitting there, with our football clothes on and whatnot. And I was sitting there on the football field, and it struck me, dude, I just want to go rock climbing. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I went and I talked to my buddy, Chris, and I was like, dude, I think I'm just going to bounce, dude. I think I'm done. I just want to go climbing. Like, I don't want to play football anymore. Either way, we ended up walking away with like 5 people at the same time because we just wanted to go climb. And dude, my coach literally did the whole thing like, you're going to be a loser. You guys are going to go do some stupid sport like climbing rocks. Well, you'll never be in the Olympics. You'll never amount to nothing. You'll just be a bunch of dirt heads.
God.
Like it literally went down like that. And then for years I'd see him. Dude, I was like a high school student. I was like a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember he would just like essentially like look down at me like I was trash because I'd like taken away like a couple of his like good players to go like rock climbing.
Yeah.
And then he probably felt very vindicated when like some of my friends like later got like arrested for drugs and shit.
Sure.
But dude, the high school football team, they were doing more drugs than anybody. By the time I got to maybe not more than the stoners, but maybe they did, dude. The high school football players, they were doing more drugs than the average student for sure.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, they definitely weren't living up to being the most popular kids in school who don't do drugs and do all their homework. That didn't happen at all.
Do you like the Olympics?
Not anymore.
No.
It doesn't even make any sense anymore. It doesn't. The Olympics, and the media knows it. The Olympics knows it. They know it doesn't make any sense anymore. That's why nobody's watching it. That's why there's no like real hoopla about it.
Yeah.
It's super downplayed. Like they don't want to remove it because it's like one of those institutions.
That's a traditional thing for sure. But I mean, you can take the history of the Olympics all the way back to Roman times.
Yeah.
When they competed naked.
I think we should go back to that. I think we need to fix the Olympics, dude.
So what's wrong with the Olympics in the first place? Other than the obvious fact that whenever the Olympics goes to a specific country or whatever, it just destroys the economy.
Well, I mean, that's a whole other topic I could get into, but
right.
I think the Olympics, I think the concept of like nation versus nation doesn't make sense if we're playing a global international planet. So we're trying to play as if we're a global international planet, right? Or we are. Like
Right.
That's what we're doing now.
Right.
So the United States and a few countries have the budgets to attract all the talent. It's no different than buying Messi.
Right.
So we've literally, as the United States, we bought Messi. We bought everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're buying tattooers. Like a lot of the best tattooers in the world come here.
I think I know what you're saying.
So what's the point? Like honestly, like if it's just an actual competition of like people, like I like that. I think we can just completely melt away the national side of it. I don't think we need national teams anymore. I think each sport should just kind of have people that play the sport and they go compete in the Olympics. It doesn't. I don't think nationality should have anything to do with it. It should just be either like private groups of people competing, but everyone has to be included. I think this concept of like amateurs makes no sense. Mm-hmm. Like it should just be the fastest running people, the fastest swimmers, the best athletes. No more amateur crap. Like I don't really know how to deal with all the anabolics and stuff, but all that stuff, it needs to be addressed too. But as is, the Olympics makes zero sense in like 2021.
Right. So in your world of get rid of nationality and whatnot, who pays the athletes? Because they're not working on a tradable skill. They're not doing anything to really support themselves through this. The majority of those athletes get paid either through sponsorships or through whatever nation they're representing.
I think it doesn't matter. They'll figure it out.
Have you
do it because it's fun, dude? People will do it. You think dude, look at our world. Look at rock climbers. Most of those dudes aren't making any money. They don't care. I go to the rock gym twice a week. Dude, people that love rock climbing, like literally live out of their car and eat like trash food. I know rock climbers that lived off food stamps, like slept in a tent for like 5 years. They don't care.
Fair. No, fair. Yeah.
Like people that run fast, they run fast every day. They love running. Long distance runners, there's a whole world for that. Like there's sponsorships. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I like the idea of nations. I think we're insane to like try to like melt away the world in like this one homogenized thing.
Right.
I might be wrong about that, but whatever. Yeah. But within the context of the people that are showing us the Olympics, they're the ones that don't want to have specific nations necessarily. But why? So why are they reinforcing it with competition? It makes zero sense. Like they're literally expressing the opposite of what they're paying for in advertising. It makes no sense. Yeah. You can't, like it's completely inconsistent. It makes zero sense. Like it doesn't.
No, yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
And they know it doesn't make sense. And that's why they're downplaying the Olympics. Now they've turned it into like this other thing. Now they're like using the Olympics to like platform like different concepts. It's a whole other conversation I do not want to have. But it shows you how rotten the whole thing is now. Like I've heard more jokes about the Olympics this season than I've heard any sort of encouragement.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about the Olympics at all.
We heard about the girl who got caught smoking and got kicked out.
Wasn't there a skateboarder? No, there was a snowboarder years ago. Yeah.
But there was a girl like recently who was like a fast runner and she got caught smoking weed and they kicked her out of the Olympics.
What country was she from?
United States.
Seriously? Really?
I speculate. That she was removed because she had anabolics and marijuana and they decided to make the marijuana public.
Sure.
So she had this is pure speculation.
Right.
But that's what I think happened. I think they said, okay, well, you got caught doing this. You also got caught doing this. So how about you just graciously step down and say you got caught with weed? That's what I think what happened.
What was she? What was her?
She was a track runner. Like
runner. Wow, that's...
Because they've let people before they got caught with weed skate and do it. So when she couldn't, and the fact she was so gracious about it and didn't fight it, it makes me think that there was more to the story. But that's just me.
Yeah. Have you ever seen how like the list of how much these athletes get paid according to what country they represent?
Yeah.
It's the U.S. is one of the lowest paying countries for Olympic athletes.
Yeah, but they have more opportunities than anybody.
Sure, right. But have you seen how much athletes from China get paid? They get paid a lot. Well, they get paid so much. They get paid millions of dollars for it goes on like the medal tier list. So if you get gold, it's like $1 million for every gold medal that you get. If you get a silver, it's like $500,000 or something.
Well, they're still not paying a lot of money out. They'd lose most of the competition.
Sure, but I think I don't know. In your version of the Olympics, I don't think it would work because of how much some of these athletes do get paid for being the best at what they do.
I think they'll all find sponsors, dude.
I think they'll find sponsors, but you're going to have an entire wave of different athletes. You're not going to have these athletes who want to outperform the best because they're not getting that exact same return back. So you're going to have a different wave of athletes who are doing this because they want to do it, you know?
I think it would work out.
No, I think that would be cool though. I think that would be cool to see those athletes who want to run. They don't want to run for the money. Like they just want to run because they're really good at it.
Yeah. But
you're not going to have those athletes who are really good at like the best at running. They're not going to be there because they're not going to get paid for it.
I don't know, dude. I think the people that front run everything, like the Michael Phelpses, they all still exist. And then the sports that have like any sort of entertaining factor, they all exist anyway. Like that never goes away. Like people want to watch soccer. People want to watch certain sports and they just love it.